Jude Winniski is a former Reagan economics advisor. I'd have thought this arch-conservative would have been one of Farrakhan's sternest critics, but found him to be one of his most devout supporters.
It would be very surprising or interesting for many people to know that Minister Farrakhan has a confidant and a friend who is first of all white and secondly Republican.
I was taught at UCLA journalism that to be a good reporter, you don't stop asking questions until you run out of people with answers. So where I was told Minister Farrakhan is bigoted, he's prejudiced, he's anti-Semitic, I said, well, I have to see for myself. When Minister Farrakhan came and spoke to my conference in Boca Raton, Florida, I mean, you got a standing ovation, and half of the people, my clients, are Jewish. They're all in the financial world. But they never heard that before. He got up and he said, if the government gives the family free food, free clothing, free housing, free education, free transportation, what is the father of the family to do? What's left for the father? See, that's the job of the breadwinner, to do those things. And, you know, it's a great message.
Farrakhan has crossed the colour line, not only in politics, but religion too.
I've known the minister both as someone who I have great respect for, as a prophetic voice, as a mentor, but also as a friend and as a brother. We've become very close friends over the years. Our families have been close. He's shared dinner in my house, as I have at his many, many times. He has preached from our pulpit here in this church on 3 different occasions. We've worked together on issues not only for this community, but in the city and in the nation.
Father Michael Frager ministers to St. Sabina, an African-American Catholic church a short distance from the nation's main mosque, Mosque Mariam. His personal and pastoral relationship with Farrakhan suggests, at the very least, that perceptions of Farrakhan as a religious zealot and racist bigot need refining. Farrakhan's friendships with both Winniski and Father Frager indicate both a far more complex value system and shaded approach than many have given him credit for. How has that relationship played, both with your immediate community and with the church?
Mixed. Mixed with my immediate community, strong and supportive. The church was not supportive. They were wanted me to disinvite him. The ADL at that time threatened to boycott and to picket the church on that Sunday morning.
That's the Anti-Defamation League.
The Anti-Defamation League. Received a number of hate calls and threats regarding having the minister here, not just the first time, but each time that he's spoken here. But I am not ashamed, or would I ever go back on my friendship or my support for the minister. Minister Farrakhan has many times been labeled as anti-Semitic, as anti-white, as anti-Catholic. Well, first of all, I mean, our friendship certainly throws out the anti-white and anti-Catholic.
Do you understand why they were upset?
I think in earlier years, his passion and his emotions sometimes had him phrase things in ways that sound bites and the fringe listener could take and misinterpret. And I think that was, and I think Minister himself says that. He's learned to watch more carefully how he phrases and says things. But I think the minister has been tremendously misinterpreted and defined by the media rather than listened to by the media.
Senator, what has Mr. Farrakhan done to earn your respect?
Yeah, I have respect for him as a fellow human being, and I have respect for some of the things his followers do, including those that I've observed and had some contact with in Connecticut in terms of their commitment to their families, the whole movement of acceptance of responsibility by the men within his movement for their families. So it's in that sense that I said I had some respect for him. Look, if I ever get to meet with him, it may be that there's no change, and that's the worst that would have happened. Nothing would have been gained. Maybe there's a chance to do something constructive here, and that's been my nature throughout my life. Two or three people I respect, private individuals outside of politics, came to me, I thought, as, if you will, messengers from Mr. Farrakhan, and said he wants to change. He feels that his life has been threatened by prostate cancer. He doesn't want to leave a legacy of division and hate, and he'd like to meet with you. And it's in that spirit, when asked on that radio show, that I said I would be open to meeting with him.
Would you insist that Mr. Farrakhan apologize for his anti-Semitic remarks as recently as 2 weeks ago before you sat down with him?
No, I thought, look, this is not going to happen before the election because of all the tumult around it, and I think nothing constructive would come out of it. But, you know, if there's a sincere intention that was expressed to me by people close to him and people who I respect to begin a dialogue and hopefully to create some bridges, not just to the Jewish American community, but to a lot of others that he's offended and hurt over the years, and to use the power he has, as I think he tried to recently in the Million Family March, which was open beyond his followers, beyond his religion, then I'm open to a quiet, private discussion. That's the way progress occurs. Again, you don't make peace with your friends. You have to reach out to make things better. There's very little risk involved, and maybe there's a chance of progress here, of peace, of growth.
You mentioned Hollywood.